Where do I even begin? So BlizzCon happened, huge event, a lot of talking about Hearthstone. I'm gonna cover everything Battlegrounds related, so I'm gonna go over the patch, I'm gonna rate all the buffs and nerfs, give my opinion on them. I'm also gonna talk about the new tribe that we got. I'm gonna predict where the meta is heading, so all Battleground stuff, I'll pack in this video, and everything else BlizzCon related, because there's a lot to talk about, I'll put into the next Yo-Ho episode. So I'd say let's get started, but before that, I'm very happy to announce this video is sponsored by Powerplay Rewards. Now, I'm really happy to be partnering up with them because it almost seems too good to be true. You probably really enjoy playing games. I enjoy playing games. What if I told you there is a way that you can just earn money playing games? It is something anyone can do, and it seems super simple. Like I said, it almost seems too good to be true, but it is true, and if you don't believe me, you should check it out for yourself. So I opened the app here. So currently it's only available in the US, but soon they plan on adding other countries. And I got a bunch of quests ready for mobile games that I just have to play, earn coins, and I can literally redeem those coins for PayPal money or Amazon gift cards, stuff like that. It's a really cool concept. I like it a lot, so I would suggest you check out the link in the description or check out this app for yourself in the Play Store, Powerplay Rewards. They've already given money to multiple people that have this app installed. Thanks again for sponsoring the channel, Powerplay Rewards, and let's move on with the video. So spells are removed. Finally, the prizes are removed. They were a big contribution to this toxic meta, and at first spells were cool. They enabled people to stabilize when they were behind. They enabled cool turns. If you want greed, you can pick coins. If you needed tempo, you can take tempo spells. So the flexibility was cool at first. It was beautiful, but sadly it quickly turned into a toxic mess, and people have been begging for spells to be gone. The time is here, boys. Spells are gone. Sadly, we don't get anything in return. I expected another update to happen, maybe with something new that we get introduced, maybe not spells, but another different mechanic. They said they're gonna do more shenanigans in the future, so I guess we'll have to wait for more stuff like this. And Khadgar, I've been pretty much yelling at Khadgar for a while, almost every single video, because it's such an issue in higher ranks. Now they addressed it, but I'm not 100% sure this completely fixes him. So I'll talk more in depth into this and what problems I still have with this fix for Khadgar in the Yo-Ho episode. But for now, what they did is first token summons, and then it will do triple animation. So instead of summoning 3 tokens, tripling it and continuing summoning, it will just summon the tokens, and then as soon as your board is full, it'll make a triple. So you can play a token with a golden Bren or golden Khadgar, you'll only get 1 triple from it instead of 4 or 5. So the insane transition turns with 20 triples in one turn into a bunch of 6 drops are not possible anymore, or insanely hard. But there, like I said before, there are still gonna be some Khadgar stuff possible in the early mid game with Gendis, just with tokens to get early tempo triples that I'm a little bit scared about. But yeah, like I said, I'll address it more in depth into the next podcast episode. Hooktusk got removed. Sure, so Hooktusk has been changed 3 times. First, it was a 0-cost 0 power that killed a unit and you got a random unit from a tavern tier below. That was too weak, it got buffed, you could discover a unit then. It was too strong, it got nerfed again, it cost 1 gold to kill a unit and discover from a tavern tier below. Too weak again, doesn't see play, and now they just got rid of it. So they gave up on balancing her after 3 attempts, and she's gone. They're also making room for new heroes. They talked about new heroes coming in the future, but again, they just talked about in the future, so they didn't give us any clues or any hints. And Elistra also got removed. I'm actually a little bit sad about that. I think Elistra was a really cool idea. I know it's a hot take, a lot of people hate Elistra. Trust me, I'm frustrated to play against her as well, but she added another level of depth and skill into the late game. Now you could play around Cleaves, you would have to play around an Elistra. You don't get your entire board wiped by a golden huge cyclone. So Elistra was a good counterplay to some fights that otherwise you would lose. And it's not that hard to honestly play around an Elistra. It also addresses the Scallywag Exodia, because I mean Khadgar kinda got nerfed, but the Scallywag with Eliza and Khadgar combo is still in the game and is still gonna be possible. And now there's no Elistra anymore to possibly counter that. There's still Void Lords and other ways to counter it, but yeah, so I'm a little bit sad to see Elistra go, but I'm sure the majority is not gonna mind. Alright, and now we finally arrived to the buffs and nerfs, or I should say buffs. Blizzard hasn't nerfed a single thing, which I'm kind of sad about because this means power creep is gonna keep increasing. There are some cards that I think are too strong that they definitely should have nerfed, but instead they're just buffing stuff to keep up with the power level. Again, I'll go over everything, all my thoughts in the podcast soon. This is just a breakdown, so let's get started with Yashiraj. Yashiraj, 2 ghost hero power, normally summons a unit on the board from the same tavern tier. Now at the end of turn you get it in your hand, so it gets removed from the board, comes to your hand. It's a small buff. I don't think it's gonna be very significant though. The major thing about this is if you summon a battlecry unit, you get it in hand. That was the big downside, right? If you hero power into a jug, you just got a 3/3 on the board for 2 gold. Now you get it in hand. That's cool. But the major issue with Yashirash that I still have is that you have to play with 6 units and you have to rely on your 7th unit that you hero power to be good, even though you get it to hand. If that hero power isn't the Battleground unit, there's literally no benefit to getting it back in your hand, or like very little benefit. I still think Yashirash is okay. It's kind of a yog. You can still, he's not a bad hero. I'll still give him a 4 because he's playable. He's got nerfed, map now costs 3 gold instead of 2. I think this is a big deal. Elise back in the day with a 3 gold map was a fair hero. It was balanced, was playable, wasn't super good, but I think Elise is going to be in the same spot. It's going to be average. I'm going to give it a 3. Now, a lot of people have told me, no, Elise is still going to be strong. Even with 3 gold, you can make it work. But you got to remember that spells contributed a lot to Elise's power. Spells allowed for economy early and for tempo that she might not have had in order for her to power level and get these insane leveling curves. So spells removed is also a small nerf to Elise, honestly. So I think you shouldn't just look at this nerf from her hero power, but also overall the meta is going to change. I'm going to talk about the meta at the end of the video, but the meta is also going to put more pressure on Elise. So I think she's going to be fine. She's going to be playable, but she's not going to be great. Then Mukla, they buffed Mukla. So bananas now have a 1 in 3 chance of getting a big banana. I think it was a 1 in 4 before, or 1 in 5, I'm not sure, but a 1 in 3 to get a big banana. So very often when you hero power, you'll have at least 1. So if you look at it, then if you press your hero power for 1 gold, you get 2 bananas. If you get a big banana, normal banana, it's +3/+3 for 1 gold. It's okay. It's like Edwin, but you can do it earlier. It's no guarantee to get a big banana. You could have 2 big bananas as well. So I think Mukla is just gonna be average. I'll give it a 3. Akazamzarak can now only discover ice block once a game, so no more double ice blocks in late game. I still think he's gonna be good though. Like, how often do you discover ice block back to back? It doesn't happen that often. So I think Akazamzarak is still alright, because the biggest buff to him was honestly the competitive spirits, which are still in. So I'll still keep him at 4 because he's still gonna be pretty strong. And then Saurolisk, oh boy. Saurolisk moved from a 4-2 to a 3-2, but he now gains +1/+2 per buff. It might not seem like much, but buffing your health by so much just by playing a Death Rattle unit is insane. So if you find this guy and next turn roll 2 Death Rattle units, you get like a free homunculus, free +2/+4 stats on the thing. It's gonna be huge. Things that scale health are generally better than things that scale attack. So I think this actually puts Saurolisk to a 5. I'm kind of scared, to be honest. I think everyone is gonna have like a couple Saurolisks on the board in a mid game. Again, ballsy takes, but that's what I'm here for, to spit the fire. Now, of course, if you disagree or if you agree, or I would love to see everyone discuss down below in the comments how wrong you think I am or how right you think I am. I want to see your hot takes. Let's talk about it. Waxrider got buffed. She's now a 1-3 instead of a 1-2. I don't know why, but she is. I don't think that makes her much better. She's still very situational. If she gets sniped, well, that sucks. If she gets value, she's still gonna be strong. I don't know why they buffed this though, because dragons are already the strongest tribe in the game. I guess their early game or their mid game was lacking. I mean, they still have whelps and bronze wardens. I think their mid game was strong, so I see no reason to buff Waxrider. I guess Waxrider was one of the least played units, one of the worst units. That's why they buff it, but I would just remove it and replace with something else, or keep it in. Sometimes Waxrider is actually still playable for a couple turns. So I don't think Waxrider is gonna be comp defining or see much more play. I think it's just gonna keep it as a situational unit. So I'll give it a 3. Yo-Ho-Ogre also got a +1 health buff for whatever reason. They're doing random buffs that don't make much sense to me. I don't see why they are buffing these units, but alright. It's now a 2-6. Yo-Ho was already a decent tempo play. A 2-5 is okay, and then if you roll a captain, it's a 3-6 already on tier 2. So I think Yo-Ho was alright. Now it got even stronger, but I don't think it matters too much. I'll give it a 4 still. Molten Rock also got +1 health. Like, Molten Rock was already okay. You could scale its health pretty easily. Now Arana is gonna be even stronger if you do Party Rock in the mid game, and there's a buff coming up that's gonna make it even stronger. Sit down, get ready, because you might just fall over after hearing the next buff. But yeah, Molten Rock to 4 HP. Sure, I'll give it a 4 still. It's still a good unit. Again, elementals were already good, so I don't really see why. And here's the buff that I'm most scared of. Arm of Empire now gives permanent attack. So instead of giving 3 attack when a taunt is attacked, it gives +2 permanent attack. So the attack during combat is permanent and carries over into the next combat or into your shop phase. So this is nuts. Because right now, Arana Elementals, for example, had huge Molten Rocks, and to give them some attack, they often played Armor Vampires already. Now he gets permanent attack. You can taunt a Battlemaster and just skyrocket its attack. Like, there's so many, it's just too good, basically. If whatever taunts you have, if they have Divine Shield, right? If you have some mechs with some modules on it, you put this in and it's like a mega leaper over a couple turns, like insane value. Now, it is attack, not health, so health is still gonna be an issue, but yeah, units that get high health, like Battlemaster or Molten Rock or stuff like that, that scale their attacks so easily, I think this is, I don't know why, because Taunt Comp was already strong, alright? Taunt Comp was a good mid game, it was a good tempo build. They're making it even stronger for whatever reason, I guess because they need more tempo in the game, but spells just got removed, Elise just got nerfed. I think the greed meta already died over there, and now they're even putting more into the hands of tempo taunt builds. So yes, be ready to see a lot of Armor Vampire taunt builds. It was already a strong unit, it didn't need a buff, come on Blizzard. Champion of Yashiraj also got buffed, of course, they're keeping the taunt buffs. That's probably why they actually buffed Molten Rock and Yo-Ho, because they're taunts. That's my best guess. But Champion is now a 4-4 instead of a 2-2, meaning it is stronger. I'll give Champion a 3. I think it's okay. I don't think it matters too much, because generally when I go taunt comp, champions are alright for the mid game, but they don't have a tribe, they don't scale. It's really like you have to put them in the back because they need to attack into your taunts. They can be awkward sometimes, so champions can be strong. I've seen strong champion builds, but I think taunt builds are stronger with Kiraji stuff and with just going menagerie and finding scavengers and brand and stuff like that, so I'm not gonna get my hopes too high for this unit. And Junkbot, the most hyped thing of all, moved down to tier 4. I was really thinking about giving it a 5 because Junkbot, I want to see it back, man. I want to see it make a recurrence in the meta, but I don't think it will. I think it's going to be very situational depending on the hero. Like if you are playing Greybow or if you are playing a mech heavy build, you could throw it in because tier 4 there, it's very easy to find. It's also very easy to triple. Like you could triple into it on 7 gold on turn 5 and then build a little bit around that. But I'm going to give it a 4 because it still doesn't scale compared to other things in the game right now. They didn't nerf dragons or elementals or the insane scalers in the late game, so buffing Junkbot like this is not gonna have too big of an impact, especially with how much the meta is evolving and power creeping. So Junkbot, I'm sorry buddy, I'll definitely mess with you. I think you'll be fun to play with, but I don't think you're at the level of the other stuff yet. And then the last buff, Kangors went from a 3-6 to a 4-8. I'm not even gonna rate this because honestly, like, why? That makes no sense. But why? I don't even want to call this a buff or a nerf. I don't know what to call this. I'm not. Let's move on. So let's talk about bug fixes. So they did mention that they fixed 2 bugs, but I never heard of them. They were very niche. It was like golden facelesses that could triple, and so they fixed 2 bugs that maybe happened once. You know what I'm really upset about? They didn't mention bugs that have been in the game since the beginning and are super annoying. Let's talk about the ghost bug. Like by now, most people have experienced it, where there's a dead player in a lobby but it shows as being alive, so if you win the lobby you still get second place. Or the triple bug where it doesn't show how many triples your opponent has, it says 0 triples but they have like 3 6-drops on the board and you're like, what the fuck, Blizzard? So those are things that need to be addressed, that are so annoying, have been in the game since forever, and there's nothing of that in the patch notes, but instead they do very niche bug fixes. Also when it comes to nerfs, Omu and Maiev are still untouched. I think those heroes are gonna be insane. Like they buffed a lot of stuff, they took out Hooktusk and Elistra, but they didn't address other powerhouses in the meta right now. Like I think more heroes are gonna be playable, but they should have at least addressed the most broken heroes at the top more. And the new tribe, yeah, Quilboar, we will know more about it in April. Again, they just said we're having a new tribe. Yeah, see you in 2 months. So we'll just have to wait until we get more updates on that, but for now all we can do is speculate. We don't know what the tribe is gonna do. Now to quickly recap what I think the meta is gonna look like, it's definitely gonna slow down because first of all spells got removed, then Elise also got nerfed. Maiev and Omu are still in and other heroes could still power level as well, but because they made so many buffs all to the early game of stuff, they made taunt comp even stronger, which I think was not necessary. I think taunt comp was already pretty good. Mechs are gonna be a little bit stronger, I guess. They buffed Junkbot and Kangors. Like I'm honestly scared. Like we're moving back into a tempo meta, which is good. I'm happy about. So maybe that keeps Omu and Maiev in check. So I'm holding myself down. I'm grasping my desk and hoping the meta is gonna be as good as I expect it to be. I expect it to, yeah, be more tempo based, more playable heroes. The game is gonna be more about decisions, less RNG and just power leveling. But yeah, like I said, I'm really scared that things are gonna turn into a toxic direction though. Either too much tempo, people getting out tempo too early if you don't find the good units, people forcing taunt comp, or forcing whatever is really good. So we'll see what happens. I think that's the best I can do when it comes to predictions. Now again, let me know what you think down below. I would love to hear it, and I like having discussions on these kind of videos. Don't forget to like, it literally takes 1 second and it helps me out a lot. And subscribe, of course, if you're new here, to catch the upload episode, the podcast where I'll go more in depth into BlizzCon and stuff like this, and we can have a conversation, or just to catch guides. I post guides if you want to get better. Yeah, and that's it. Don't forget to check out Powerplay in the App Store. Have a good day. I'll catch you later. Bye bye.